Hello everybody, how are we doing? Thursday the 12th of December 2013. I hope your week is going well. I hope your week is even more awesome after last night's amazing, most amazing, probably the best mid-season finale I will ever witness, in my life so far. Arrow, 9 episodes out of 9, they are just continuously knocking it out the park. Three Ghosts was the name of the episode, and I'm just gonna repeat something that I saw on somewhere on the internet, that someone described this episode really well. Origin story for Deathstroke, origin story for the Flash, origin story for Solomon Grundy, origin story for Arsenal/Red Arrow, and origin story for Green Arrow's mask, all in one episode. Wow. I don't think you can sum it up better than that, to be fair, because that's exactly what this episode was. It was all of those origins put together, and it was near perfect. It was sublime, basically. So if you're not too familiar with what happened in this episode, obviously it's a continuation of last week's episode. The scientist, obviously Barry Allen, has come to town to investigate Cyrus Gold, aka the Acolyte, but we obviously know him as Solomon Grundy. And we find out that Brother Blood was the one behind this Cyrus Gold. He made him who he is, given him strength and near vulnerability as such as well. He's been using this serum that was actually used, that was found by Oliver and Sarah Lance and Shadow and Slade Wilson back on the island, because Ivo has been looking for it. So they used the serum on Slade Wilson, as we saw last week. What happens in this episode is just amazing. So I am actually going to spoil it for you. So if you haven't watched the episode, it's going to get spoiled. I do apologise, because that's how uber excited I am about it. First up, obviously, the opening was pretty good. We obviously, at the end of last week's episode, Oliver is fighting Cyrus Gold and gets injected, well, by accident, has a couple of injections put in him. We think that that's what's caused this hallucination that he's having, hence the title 3 Ghosts, because he does meet, in essence, 3 ghosts, one from his past. Well, I say one from his past, but all 3 of them are in effect from his past, but one from his past, one in the present, and one in the future. Okay, now the first ghost that we meet happens to be Shadow. Okay, now it's very interesting that we meet Shadow, because on the island, Ivo forces Oliver to choose between her and Sarah Lance. Whichever one he chooses, the other one stays alive, the other one dies. And Oliver was really stuck, he didn't know what to do, and then he runs in front of Sarah, and then Ivo shoots and kills Shadow. So Oliver, as I say, he's seeing it. We don't know if, as I say, if it is a proper hallucination from what he was injected with, or from what Barry Allen used to counter the whatever was actually injected in him when he was fighting Cyrus. So Barry decides to do a test on his blood, to see if there's anything inside of him that is causing him to hallucinate. So it was a form of rat poisoning, was what Barry put inside Oliver. And Barry is still coming to terms of realising that Oliver is the vigilante, so he's still piecing everything together and stuff like that. We then see obviously Roy's got the arrow shot in him, so Thea and Sin brought Roy back to the house without Moira knowing. When Oliver realises what's happened, he then rings Diggle and says, yeah, Roy's been hit with an arrow to his knee. Yeah, don't ask, just bring the first aid kit and let's get this sorted. So yeah, and there was so many DC comic hints in this. It was just unbelievable. The first one, obviously, well, one of the most notable ones was being the poem for Cyrus Gold. Born on a Monday, died on a Monday. Born on a Monday, died on a Tuesday. You know the poem anyway. And then obviously at the end, Um, Oliver says to Diggle, you know, yeah, I'm aware of the well, at the beginning when Diggle's going to meet Cyrus, because Oliver's really not up to scratch about it. Diggle obviously tells the poem, and Oliver's like, yeah, I'm fully aware about the 7 stages of human life, or something like that. And it was just such an amazing thing to see this happen. Barry even tells Felicity about someone that he you know, might have feelings for, or someone that he did have feelings for. That could be a nod to a certain Iris West. When he sees the second ghost happens to be none other than Slade Wilson. Now, at this point, I'm not even caring as to whether, you know, because obviously it's got the Christmas Carol vibe to it, but I wasn't even thinking about that. I literally didn't think about that at all until someone mentioned it on Google Plus, you know, shortly after the episode aired, and I'll get to it in a moment about what they said. But as I said, it didn't even come into my head. But when Slade Wilson appeared, Oliver has a fight with Slade Wilson in his lair. But it looks like he's just had a fight with himself, because he's destroyed a few things. So Slade is obviously telling Oliver how he's not a friend, he didn't save the ones that he cared about, all this, that he failed, and everything like that. So Oliver feels really bad. Diggle has a chat with Oliver. He tells Oliver that when he was at war at Afghanistan, he used to have visions of people that he's killed, or people that he's left behind, or that, you know, he wished he had taken care of, kind of thing, and he calls it guilt, like a soldier's guilt of some sort. Diggle basically says to Oliver that what you have to do is to allow for one of these people to tell you what you want to hear, and that will give you the strength or courage to do what you need to do. And it does happen later on in the episode, when none other than Tommy Merlin appears. Literally, it was just, at that moment I was... Oliver takes his last stand against Cyrus Gold, because Roy gets captured by Brother Blood, because one of the police officers who works for Brother Blood, you know, he finds Roy, because Roy actually is tracking down the whereabouts, well, what happened to Sin's friend. Now, last week I said it was Sin's brother, but it wasn't. It's his friend Max, at the blood drive, because he was kidnapped and then left to die. And Laurel's back, by the way. I completely forgot to mention Laurel's back in this episode. So yes, as I say, Roy gets captured. Oliver comes to save him, but then is having a fight with Cyrus, but he almost gets defeated again, and that's when Tommy arrives and gives him the pep talk that he needed. Basically tells him, you are a hero, you didn't kill me, you know, my father was the one that was responsible for my death, you're not responsible, you're my friend, you are a hero, get up and fight, do it. And you know, you've never seen such strength in a character before than what Oliver did last night. It was just amazing to see him fight back, and then we see something happen to Cyrus, and then that's when Oliver goes back to his lair, tells Felicity and Diggle what happened. Diggle asks, oh, so Cyrus, he says, oh, what was it, died on a Saturday, buried on a Sunday. I was just like they are really getting the teasers in. It was amazing. But then literally, like the towards the end of the episode, this is where it really kicks off, right? And this is where, for this last sort of 10 minutes, my jaw was on the floor, and when I saw what happened, I was just like that was just, oh my god. And I'm going to tell you exactly what happened anyway. Obviously, as I say, Slade Wilson got injected with the serum. We thought he was done for. This is why I'm saying he appears as a ghost. So we thought he was done for. Turns out he does eventually. The serum does save him. He comes alive, and he has a massive boost of strength. You see him take down Ivo's men. He actually punches one of them right in the heart. It's just scary. Oliver and Sarah are still both tied up. Ivo makes a run for it, so he lives to fight another day. when Slade sees Shadow dead on the floor, he asks what happened. Oliver's saying he's about to admit that it was his fault, but then Sarah cuts in saying that Ivo just shot her, he didn't say why. And then you see Slade get all angry about it, saying that whoever is responsible for this will pay for it dearly, kind of thing. And if you remember back a few episodes ago, when Oliver and Shadow, got it together, and Slade saw said action happening, he obviously felt a bit, jealous and a bit of rage inside him. And I did say at the time that there's a possibility that Shadow would be the reason that both Oliver and Slade clash horns, and pretty much true to form, that's what's happened, because we find out that Slade Wilson is in fact the one who has been funding Brother Blood's supply of serums, because it's been used from his sample of his own blood. Figure that one out. I honestly was not expecting Slade Wilson to be the one behind all of that. I was half expecting Malcolm Merlyn or Ra's al Ghul. One of those two. Did not expect Slade Wilson. And did you notice his hairlines? Did you notice how white they are as well? They're starting to get grey. Oh. The eye patch as well. Oh my god, he is looking every inch the character of Deathstroke. It's amazing. I can't wait for him to actually get his uniform on with the mask. It's going to happen. I think that's going to be a season finale thing. And if that happens, oh my god, we are in for something fucking epically awesome. Anyway, after that happens, what do we then see? Barry's back at Central City. He's made it in time for the particle accelerator to kick off, and he's on the phone to Felicity. During the episode, at one point in the episode, Barry's actually telling Oliver, wouldn't it be great for him to have a mask? Oliver's like, well, how do I go about doing something like that? And he mentions something about microfiber of some sort of material that expands. And when he mentions that, you get this sudden hint that, okay, he mentions that to Oliver, but I'm sure he's gonna. There's a hint to something forthcoming for Barry as well, because if you know about his uniform as the Flash, he has a ring that the uniform actually comes out of and expands and then pretty much wears itself on him as he's speeding off into action. So who knows if that's another nod to that. But as we see, he tells Felicity that he's got a present for Oliver. We get to that in a moment. But what happens beforehand? Now, I did say that I believe that the particle accelerator would have some involvement in Barry getting his powers, but I didn't expect it to be of this scale. The particle accelerator, it was stormy night in Central City, thunder and lightning, heavy rainfall and everything. The particle accelerator doesn't unfortunately go to plan, so they're being told to evacuate the area, and then suddenly the electricity goes out in Barry's lab. But we actually see him use it. He's got a board up on his wall as such, and you see all his newspaper clippings about what happened to his mum, Nora, killed by Doctor, aka his dad, this, that and the other. So he's got a whole history from 1982 to 2000 and then further on. It's interesting. It's really interesting. What? Nah? Move out the way, girl. I'm doing a video. Yes, come on. Sorry. So he's got all of that, and then next thing you know, the entire place goes dark, and the particle accelerator does something. It was like a nuclear explosion, but of an electric scale. Okay, so nothing gets blown up. You just see everything go dark. And Barry's about to do something, and then all of a sudden all the chemicals around him are like floating. It's like, what is going on? And then next thing you know, he looks up at the skyline, at his little window up there, and then lightning flashes onto him. It just, as he falls back, he's laid out unconscious on the floor, and you just see the electricity run right through him, all the way up to his face. And that's where they cut, and I'm just like, oh my god, we are definitely in for something awesome. So, then at the very end, Diggle says, even the Arrow deserves a Christmas gift. Opens the box, there's the mask, he puts it on, asks Felicity, how does he look? And she just says, like a hero. And it finishes there, and I was shaking. I was physically, the last 10 minutes of the episode, I was physically shaken. I was just, oh my god, I didn't know what was going on half the time. I was just in awe of what I saw. It was just brilliant. The internet completely blew up. Arrow was trending within the first 5 minutes of the episode airing. 5 minutes. That's just killer. It was just amazing. Absolutely amazing. So, what I say to this is, I know that we've got until the January 15th for when the next episode is out, and that's called Blast Radius. As I mentioned earlier, Roy got captured by Brother Blood. Well, he was injected with the serum, and we see in the promo for the next episode, he's punching some concrete. He's got superpowers. So, I say he's got superpowers, but he's got strength, and even his knee, where the arrow went in, has been healed. So, a shape of things to come, ladies and gentlemen. Oliver's going to keep an eye on him. Who knows what's going to happen? That's all I'm going to say. But I was tweeting last night to a few people, and I even tweeted to Warner Brothers themselves, and I said they've got to include the TV and the movie of DC Universe together, because I can see right now that both Arrow and the Flash, when the series does get started, hopefully, has to be included, because this episode has shown that it can work with the Man of Steel universe, with that bigger part of the DC universe. There's no reason for them not to include it. I think that they have, but the fact that that Greg Berlanti and even Jeff Johns himself are not confirming, but they're not denying that they are going to be a part of a shared universe, says something. And I think it should be done. The formula is perfect. Okay, it can be done. Please do it. Keep Grant Gustin, keep Stephen Amell. You've got it. Do it. Add them in there, even just for a short cameo. And when the Justice League movie does eventually kick off, even though people are saying that the Man of Steel sequel is going to be a Justice League movie, in essence, yes, it probably will be. But keep it as it is. Add those two in. You've got something awesome. It's that simple. There's nothing. It's not rocket science, basically. It's there, right in front of you, written out in front of you, literally in black and white. If you want to go down that far, do it. Okay, Warners, I'm telling you right now, you've got it. Do it. Arrow is producing epic shows every week. Berlanti, Guggenheim, Kreisberg, Amell, everybody that's involved, it's just unbelievable. It really is unbelievable. So please, Warners, I am begging you guys, just keep it as it is. Get them involved with the movie side of things. As I say, even if it's just a short cameo, I don't care, as long as they're recognised. Oliver still has a way to go to actually eventually becoming Green Arrow. So maybe when the Justice League is ready, because even Superman is not yet, experienced. Batman will be weary and seasoned and all that sort of stuff. That's fine. But if you can have all of that together, and Barry Allen is just starting, oh my god, I'm wetting myself already. Absolutely wetting myself. So anyway, this has got to be the longest review I've done for Arrow so far. I'm already like 20 minutes or something into it. I don't care, because wow. And if you have sat this long watching this, damn, lucky you, or unlucky you, but you're either bored or you really are excited as I am as well. So I am going to leave it there. What a brilliant episode that was. And just to finish off, I cannot wait to see what they do with Barry Allen now. I really can't wait to see what they do. I'm sure he is going to return in episode 20, but because now the CW want to give him a traditional pilot, the back pilot idea will probably be scrapped. So whether or not they're going to do something different for episode 20, we'll find out. Or hopefully they'll bring the Flash back well, I say the flashback, they'll bring Barry Allen back in some shape or form, and then off he goes into his own series, hopefully. Fingers crossed. It's got to be done. So there. Thank you all very much for watching. Enjoy your holiday break, and we'll be back in January for episode 10, Blast Radius. Bye.